President John Dramani Mahama and Mr. Collins Dauda looted Ghana $200 million US, but nobody is in there to talk about it. Is it because John Dramani Mahama is now the president of the Republic of Ghana, or is now because the NDCs has intimidated Ghanaians a lot that everybody is afraid to criticize NDC when they do the wrong thing? Now let me tell you, or let's get into the deeper of this story. We were all here when John Dramani Mahama promised the king of Ningo Pram Pram, where Sam George, this Sam George that we are talking about, where Sam George is the MP. John Dramani Mahama visited the king of Ningo Pram Pram and told them that he wants to build an affordable houses because he thinks that Ghanaians are suffering. A lot of Ghanaians do not have shelter, do not have place to even sleep. So Mahama, in his own right senses, thinks that he is going to build a lot of houses for Ghanaians so that those middle or the Ghanaians who have the low income, or Ghanaians who do not have a proper place to sleep, can go in there at an affordable prices. So let's say the president has built a lot of houses here, and the actual prices for the land or for the house is supposed to be 100 Ghana cedis. Because the president wants to build for the people of his town, because the president wants to build for the people in Ghana to buy and sleep, he is going to collect 50 cedis instead of the actual 100 cedis. So you will pay half, and the president of the Republic of Ghana will also take half of it. This is the main reason why John Dramani Mahama visited the king of Ningo Pram Pram, the constituency of Sam George. President John Dramani Mahama and Mr. Collins Dauda needs to answer a lot of questions related to the Saglemi Housing Project. John Dramani Mahama and Collins Dauda has looted Ghana over $200 million US, and it seems like nobody is there to talk about it. Is it because the NDCs have intimidated Ghanaians enough to the extent that people in Ghana can no longer criticize about or talk about what John Dramani Mahama and the NDCs are doing, even when they are doing the wrong thing? But when NPP was in power, this John Dramani Mahama, Sammy Jemfi, and Sam George criticized Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo as if Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo is the mother serpent of corruption. Now let's get deeper into how John Dramani Mahama and Mr. Collins Dauda looted and stole $200 million US from the past of Ghana. We all know that in 2012, John Dramani Mahama initiated and cut a sword for the biggest government-led housing project in Ghana. And this housing project was to be established or was to be constructed in Ningo Pram Pram. So John Dramani Mahama chose the Ningo Pram Pram for a reason. John Dramani Mahama visited the king of Ningo Pram Pram, discussed that with the king of the Ningo Pram Pram, and the king of the Ningo Pram Pram gave the president of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, and the Ministry of Works and Housing under Mr. Collins Dauda a very vast land for them to construct this bigger housing project there in Ghana. Yes, John Dramani Mahama, upon reaching the agreement with the King Pram Pram, decided to give this project to a Brazilian. The reason why John Dramani Mahama gave this affordable Saglemi housing project to the Brazilian contractor was that John Dramani Mahama visited the president of Brazil in order to collect a loan from Brazil of 200 million US American choppable dollars. So it was in their agreement that because the loan was being collected from Brazil, the president deemed it wise that the contractor, the person who was to be built or who was to be constructed the land, the housing, should come from Brazil. The 200 million loan was supposed to cover the expenses of the construction, the engineering design, materials procurement, and the project supervision. Because the project was fully financed by the President of the Republic of Ghana, this makes it the property of the Republic of Ghana and not from a private source. The reason why John Dramani Mahama decided to build this project was to reduce the number of housing deficit or housing shortages that we have in Ghana. But let's look at how the house is composed of. The house was supposed to consist of studio apartments, one-bedroom apartment, because we know that we have a lot of government workers who are receiving very little salary or very little money as their salary. So these people have one-bedroom apartment, two-bedroom apartment, three-bedroom apartment, and a studio apartment for those who have or for those who earn a very large amount of money. John Dramani Mahama gave this housing to the Ministry of Works and Housing under Mr. Collins Dauda. Yes, because the house was from the government, or because the project was to be constructed by the President of the Republic of the land, John Dramani Mahama decided to give this to Mr. Collins Dauda. Initially, John Dramani Mahama did a press conference and informed the people of the Republic of Ghana that the president or the presidency is going to construct an affordable housing, an affordable government project housing in Ningo Pram Pram, which is going to consist of 5,000 units or 5,000 housing units to housing the people of Ghana. But this is the main trick that John Dramani Mahama used in tricking the people of the Republic of Ghana. This same John Dramani Mahama told the people of Ghana that he is going to construct 5,000 housing units. But instead, John Dramani Mahama told the contractor or told the Brazilian contractor to construct only 1,500 units for the same 200 million US dollars money that John Dramani Mahama collected from the president of Brazil. In 2016, the president of the land, John Dramani Mahama, was able to construct only 1,500 units, and the 500 unit consists of road. You know, when you go to Saglemi Housing Project, because these people decided to thief, because this NDC under John Dramani Mahama decided to steal the money from the past of the government, these people decided to do a proper road, a high-class road in Saglemi. They were able to construct 1,500 instead of the 5,000 housing units that John Dramani Mahama earlier promised. They were able to do the electricals in the house, so that means the house was fully furnished. They were able to do a drainage waste or drainage system in order for no flood to occupy the building. So, you know, as of 2016, the house was about 98% completion and reached an agreement with the President of the Republic of Ghana to sell it, it will be better than leaving this project abandoned.
Consequently, the Ministry of Works and Housing set up a technical working group with representation from various state and independent professional institutions to oversee and spearhead all engagements required for the completion of the Saglemi Housing Project. Ultimately, this technical working group is ensuring that there's transparency in following through with Cabinet's directive, whilst guaranteeing value for money towards the completion of the project. Currently, an approval has been given by the Public Procurement Authority for a transaction advisor to be procured to lead the process of identifying a suitable private sector entity with the requisite technical and financial capability to complete the project. Indeed, the lessons learned from the Saglemi Housing Project have been invaluable in shaping the approach and execution of this new affordable housing initiative. Today, as we break ground for this remarkable housing project, we acknowledge that our work is not yet complete. Government remains committed to providing decent housing for all Ghanaians. We will continue to explore innovative solutions, foster partnerships, and implement policies that empower our people and uplift our communities. I extend my deepest gratitude to all stakeholders involved in making this housing project a reality. Together we'll build a brighter future for the people of Ghana, one where access to housing is a reality for everybody. Let us move forward with determination, unity, and an unwavering dedication towards the growth and development of our nation.
Let's look at the video of what Sam George said after Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo told Ghanaians that because the government do not have money to continue this Saglemi housing project, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo is going to give this housing project to the private investors in order for them to complete it. Let's look at exactly what Sam George said concerning what Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo said.
And Bawumia kleptocracy is looking to sell it to their cronies. They're looking to steal those properties. But let me use this to serve notice to anybody who thinks that they are going to buy the Saglemi housing from the thieves in government, led by Akufo-Addo and Bawumia and supported by Kojo Nkrumah, the Minister of Works and Housing. The land was given by the people of Ningo to the government of Ghana for the government to build affordable housing. The government did not tell my chiefs and people in Ningo that they were going to sell it to a private developer. The people of Ningo would have sold that land to a private developer if we wanted to. So this is notice to everybody, from the president, who is the thief in chief, Akufo-Addo, to his mate who has learned how to steal better than the master, Bawumia, and to the Minister of Works and Housing, Kojo Nkrumah. He's not even had the decency. Kojo is my very good friend, but he's not had the decency to even have the courtesy to come and meet with the traditional council, the chiefs of Ningo who gave that land. And he thinks he's sitting in Accra and will use executive power to hand over our land to their cronies. Well, I'm issuing a warning to whoever thinks they are going to buy. You buy, buyer beware. You buy at your own peril because you will not be able to take it on. We will not allow you take that land. The people of Ningo will rise up in righteous indignation and say that the way you've stolen lands in Accra, you won't steal Ningo lands. And this is our warning to them. And so let me use this to serve warning to the Inspector General of Police, IGP Dampare, as the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram and a representative of the chiefs and people of Ningo. I'm serving warning and notice that we will resist using all lawful and legitimate will and force and means at our disposal to stop any criminal supported and sponsored by government to come onto our land. That land is our land. Government has not paid compensation, and so government does not own it. It is our land. If they want to sell it to their cronies, then we will sell. We own the land. We will sell the land to those people, not the ministry and not the president. And so any private company, any of the 6 private companies that have been shortlisted, do not pay a peswa to the Akufo-Addo Bawumia kleptocracy, because your money will go to waste. You will not be allowed to take our land. I can assure them of that. The child who says his mother will not sleep will also not sleep.
Let's listen to the video once again, and let's pay attention to exactly what Sam George said. After that, we will give our judgment to what Sam George, who is claiming that the NPPs were the mother serpent of corruption. Let's listen to the video once again, and after that, we will give our judgment to what Sam George said.
And Bawumia kleptocracy is looking to sell it to their cronies. They're looking to steal those properties. But let me use this to serve notice to anybody who thinks that they are going to buy the Saglemi housing from the thieves in government, led by Akufo-Addo and Bawumia and supported by Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, the Minister of Works and Housing. The land was given by the people of Ningo to the government of Ghana for the government to build affordable housing. The government did not tell my chiefs and people in Ningo that they were going to sell it to a private developer. The people of Ningo would have sold that land to a private developer if we wanted to. So this is notice to everybody, from the president, who is the thief in chief, Akufo-Addo, to his mate who has learned how to steal better than the master, Bawumia, and to the Minister of Works and Housing, Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. He's not even had the decency. Kojo is my very good friend, but he's not had the decency to even have the courtesy to come and meet with the traditional council, the chiefs of Ningo who gave that land, and he thinks he's sitting in Accra and will use executive power to hand over our land to their cronies. Well, I'm issuing a warning to whoever thinks they are going to buy. You buy, buyer beware. You buy at your own peril, because you will not be able to take it on. We will not allow you take that land. The people of Ningo will rise up in righteous indignation and say that the way you've stolen lands in Accra, you won't steal Ningo lands. And this is our warning to them. And so let me use this to serve warning to the Inspector General of Police, IGP Dampare, as the Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Pram and a representative of the chiefs and people of Ningo. I'm serving warning and notice that we will resist using all lawful and legitimate will and force and means at our disposal to stop any criminal supported and sponsored by government to come onto our land. That land is our land. Government has not paid compensation, and so government does not own it. It is our land. If they want to sell it to their cronies, then we will sell. We own the land. We will sell the land to those people, not the ministry and not the president. And so any private company, any of the 6 private companies that have been shortlisted, do not pay a peswa to the Akufo-Addo Bawumia kleptocracy, because your money will go to waste. You will not be allowed to take our land. I can assure them of that. The child who says his mother will not sleep will also not sleep.
Sam George is criticizing Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia's government that these people are going to give the land or the affordable houses to a private investor to complete it, do a partnership with the government and sell it at affordable prices to the people of Ghana. Sam George criticized this Nana Akufo-Addo and Bawumia's government that they are the thieves. And with that effect, they have stolen a lot of land from the people of Ghana and in Greater Accra region. So I'm asking, if it was an NPP who said this thing in an NDC's era, where will this person stand? We were in Ghana when John Dramani Mahama's government told Ghanaians that he is going to build 5,000 affordable units to the people of Ghana at the cost of $200 million.
In the next 3 years, 5,000 houses will be constructed on this vast land situated at Saglemi in Old Ningo in the Greater Accra region. This housing project is part of efforts by the government to reduce the country's housing deficit, which currently stands at 1.7 million. Primarily meant for both low and middle income workers, the houses will be sold by the Ghana Home Loans Company. Construction of the houses is expected to create jobs for about 5,000 people in Old Ningo and its environs. Contractors of the housing project, Messrs. Construtora OAS of Brazil, have promised to work earnestly to complete the project on time.
As we initiate this important project, we promise to convey the best practices that make up the DNA of our company and set a benchmark for others to follow.
The Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Alhaji Collins Dauda, said constructing the houses with modern materials will make them durable.
This project has some unique technological innovations, such as the use of sustainable, renewable building materials, solar power generation, and wastewater recycling management, and therefore will offer enormous learning opportunities for all those who will be associated with it.
Shelter is one of the basic needs of man, and President Mahama believes the venture will relieve many Ghanaians who pay exorbitant rent to landlords.
There is another project that will take off, which is to be undertaken by Messrs. ITAL Construct to build another over 4,000 housing units. And so we expect that by 2016 we should be able to say with pride that we did contribute to increasing the housing stock in Ghana. At the same time, with the uncompleted affordable housing scheme started by the previous government, we are finalizing negotiations with SNIT to take over those houses. There are almost 4,900 of them, to take over those houses, complete them, and sell them to the general public.
Construction of the 5,000-unit housing project is part of ongoing infrastructural projects across the country aimed at increasing the percentage of affordable housing for Ghanaians.
This same John Dramani Mahama instructed the contractors to build only 5,500 units instead of the 5,000 units. He is going to build only 1,500 units instead of the initial 5,000 units for the same $200 million that he borrowed from the people of Brazil. And you call this John Dramani Mahama a saint. John Dramani Mahama and Collins Dauda needs to answer a lot of questions. But this is the timer. The people who are supposed to defend Ghana, the people who are supposed to prosecute John Dramani Mahama and Collins Dauda and the associates who are responsible for the Saglemi Housing Project are the people that is being appointed by the President John Dramani Mahama himself. Yes, let's look at exactly what Sir George said again in an interview with Joy News concerning this same housing project.
That has come to the fore because former President Mahama has been talking a lot about that. And the verdict being, if you're a private developer, steer clear of the Saglemi Housing Project, because if you take it on and should we come to power, we're going to reassess it, we're going to complete it, and you would get your fingers burnt. But is that the right posturing? So development is supposed to be a continuum. The government says it's a project that is no longer feasible right now, looking at the cost, the many millions we have to bring in. I heard, I don't know whether it was Francis Asensubuachi, the minister in charge, saying that even piping water per estimates by the Ghana Water Company Limited to Saglemi is a huge hurdle. It will cost over $30 million or something of the sort. Why is the NDC hell-bent on this and even threatening at this point?
Saglemi is a pain in my heart every time I drive by the place and I see the structure, because in 2016 in 2016, I was with President Mahama when, as candidate, he took us there to go and commission Saglemi Housing. We went in, we saw the apartments, we saw it. It was life. And now to see the footage on your screens, that shows the state of Saglemi. It is painful, it is heartbreaking, but let us serve notice. As Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram, any private developer who comes there should prepare to fight with me and my people. We will fight them. I would carry out the warning that has been sounded by the flag bearer. And so any private developer who thinks that he's taking this as a gift from government and they want to sell it to themselves. Look, we need to come out as a country and tell ourselves the truth. President Akufo-Addo and his crony of thieves in government have intentionally sat down and run this. And look, when I call them thieves, I mean thieves, literal thieves.
Aren't you being a bit too hard?
No, listen, Chief. Are you aware that this government, and look, President Akufo-Addo and his ministers, Atachia, Asenso Boachi, will face prosecution. The Mahama administration, I would lead that charge. If they don't prosecute the people in charge of the Works and Housing Ministry when we come to office, I will take the government of John Mahama to task from 2025. Because this project is in my constituency. They have intentionally and willfully caused financial loss to the state. And look, this whole talk about we are going to give it to a private contractor, it is just another create, loot, and keep. This is not create, loot, and share. Create, loot, and keep by the kleptocrats, the thieves in the Akufo-Addo government. Because the Minister for Defense is a cabinet minister, Dominic Nitiwo. He appeared before Parliament's Defense and Interior Committee and said cabinet had approved that the military should take over Saglemi, complete it and use it as a military facility, because you know that in my constituency you also have the Bundasi military range, which is right next to the Saglemi Housing Project. So the military was good. This was what he said under oath to the Parliamentary Defense and Interior Committee, the Minister for Defense. So on what basis does the cabinet of Akufo-Addo ask the Minister for Defense and the Ghana Armed Forces to take over Saglemi? And then the next moment, another minister who sits in that same cabinet is now saying that he is offering it to private developers. And then the next time you see the mother serpent of corruption, Akufo-Addo, who's been told...
I suggest you not use...
Right. Am I the one who's calling mother serpent of corruption?
Well, someone else may have said it. Someone else. Martin Amidu may have said it.
The president's appointee,
we don't have to...
as special prosecutor, says that the president who appointed him is the mother serpent of corruption. I have no apologies using that. It is the president's own appointee. The person he appointed to fight corruption said he.
But he is president of the land. Do you feel if when
criminals also become president?
Hold on. When certain things were said about former President Rawlings, in fact, at a Mills, I remember some of the very sad things that were said
without any basis.
President Kufuor, President Mahama.
Things without basis were said about them, and we swallowed them.
But you think this must stand because
this is factual. I'm telling you that President Akufo-Addo has intentionally allowed the rot of Saglemi and allows his cronies to steal $7 million worth of equipment from the site. If he is not the mother serpent of corruption, what is he?
Sam George said the NPP has intentionally and willfully caused financial loss to the state. But this is the time Sam George should realize that it was the NDC who started squeaking money, who started stealing money from the Saglemi Housing Project. How can the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, tell the people of Ghana that he is going to construct 5,000 affordable units, housing units, to the people of Ghana? But the President only instructed the contractors to build only 1,500 housing units at the same $200 million US, and you call your president that he is an angel, he is a savior. Ghanaians have a short memory, and with that effect, the NDC will continue to steal a lot of money because they do not think about Ghanaians. This is the time Ghanaians should realize that the NDC do not think about the Ghanaians, but the NDCs under John Dramani Mahama's government, supervised by this Sam George, is there to make a lot of money to their pocket instead of thinking about the people of Ghana first. John Dramani Mahama and Mr. Collins Dauda and the associate needs to answer a lot of questions related to the Saglemi Housing Project. These people need to face the law because the NDCs are not bigger than the laws of Ghana. The NDCs who are involved in the Saglemi Housing Project needs to face the law, like how Attorney General Ayine is making the NPP facing the law. Because the Minister of Justice, Ayine Akulitinga, is appointed by the President John Dramani Mahama. Akulitinga came and dropped the charges that was filed by the NPP for justice from Collins Dauda and the people associated to the Saglemi Housing Project. Akulitinga came, announced to the people of Ghana that the loss or that the case whom the NPP filed against Collins Dauda and the 5 associates have been cancelled, have been dropped down, because he thinks that John Dramani Mahama instructed the Minister for Justice to pull the case from the NDCs, because John Dramani Mahama and the NDCs came to steal the money from the Republic of Ghana. Those in charge of the NDC right now do not want to take responsibilities of their action. Let's look at exactly what Ayine Akulitinga, the Minister for Justice, the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, said concerning the housing project of Saglemi. Let's watch the video and give our judgment to exactly what Ayine said relating to the president prosecuting those people in charge, those people who have squandered a lot of money from the Republic of Ghana, those people who was supposed to build the 5,000 houses unit to the Republic of Ghana, to the people of Ghana, because of the greediness of the NDCs, because the NDCs came into Ghana to only steal, kill and destroy. They have decided to construct only 1,500 instead of the initial 5,000 housing units that was supposed to be the initial plan, because John Dramani Mahama's government do not want any NDC member to take responsibility of their action, to be prosecuted, because these people have squandered and scrutinized a lot of money from the parts of the Ghana. John Dramani Mahama asked the Attorney General Ayine to come and drop the charges against Collins Dauda, and let's look at exactly what Ayine, the Attorney General of the Republic of Ghana, Akulitinga, said relating to those involved in the Saglemi Housing Project.
The housing case, Dr. Ayine argued that the charges against Collins Dauda were flawed. He pointed out that the prosecution failed to account for the fact that the $200 million in question had been used to construct housing units, making the allegation of misapplying public funds legally unsound. He also highlighted that subsequent ministers had approved payments under the same project, further complicating the claim against Dauda. The Attorney General emphasized his commitments to justice, stating that prosecution must be based on solid evidence, not political pressure. He assured the public that his decisions were made after thorough consultation and legal review.
The second reason why I dropped the charges in some of the cases, as I stated above, is that the charges were defective and upon careful scrutiny were filed against the promptings of plain common sense. In the case of Republic versus Collins Dauda and others, for instance, the first accused was charged with misapplying public funds to the tune of 200 million United States of American dollars. In laying the charges, the prosecution failed and or neglected to take account of the basic fact that it was part of that 200 million US dollars that was used to construct the houses at Saglemi. In other words, the value of that built environment is, in my considered opinion, a key determinant of how much of the total sum was allegedly misapplied by the Honorable Collins Dauda. Discounting the value of the built environment renders those charges, in my considered opinion, defective. The prosecution in this case also failed and or neglected to take account of payments that were made by other ministers who took office after the Honorable Collins Dauda. For instance, the Honorable Atachia, as Minister of Works and Housing, approved a payment to the tune of 5 million United States of American dollars in 2017. That ought to have been considered in determining the value of state funds that the Honorable Collins Dauda had misapplied. But that wasn't done. And note, ladies and gentlemen of the media, that the Honorable Atachia was never charged, even though the Honorable Collins Dauda was charged subsequent to the actions of the Honorable Atachia.
Attorney General Ayine, who was supposed to make Collins Dauda and his 5 associates paid for the loss that they caused to the people of Ghana, is now telling Ghanaians that Collins Dauda decided to build some of the houses, and when they inspected it, some of the houses was burnt, and with that effect, Collins Dauda has not misused any money. This is the person who we call the Minister for Justice. This is the propaganda of the NDCs. This, what Attorney General said concerning the Saglemi Housing Project, shows a clear indications that the NDCs do not think about the ordinary Ghanaians. They only think about the money that they will steal from the people of Ghana. The NDCs do not think about the Ghanaians, and the NDCs do not also want to take a responsibility from their actions. This is why we have taken it as a mandate to expose exactly the corruption aspect of the NDCs, because the NDC did the same thing to the NPP. This is the corruption exposing headquarters. This is the One Done Political Network Ghana. Subscribe to the channel. Let me see what you get in the comment section, and make sure to click on the notification bell so that when we upload any new video, you will be the first person to get it.